All right, so we're gonna look at a body lock pass. Before we set up these passes, I wanna show you the hand placement, where my hand should be and where my leg should be when we're setting up this pass. So the first thing I wanna think about is locking my hands around his body. Obviously, when we're starting, he's gonna keep his elbows to the inside, he's not gonna leave this space. So I always wanna create some kind of space to get my hands through. So we can open the hands up and change levels. I have to be in line with his shoulder and his chest when I'm looking to connect my hands, okay? So when I'm here and I open the hands up, I'm gonna look to drop to my knees. My right hand is gonna be my long arm, my left hand is gonna be my short arm, especially if I'm passing to this side. So my right arm, as deep as I can, my shoulder to his stomach, here. My left hand is going over the knee or in front, it depends. You can go over the knee or in front, kind of depends on what he's doing. I look to connect my hands here. Now, once I connect my hands, the hand placement is going to be different every single time. We can go palm to palm or S grip. It just depends on how big the person is or how long or short your arms are from this position. But the idea is that I want this left arm to be able to block his knee when I'm setting up these passes. So we're going to start to connect our hands. We're going to go S grip. This is my long arm. This is going to be my short arm. And I start to drive my partner flat to the mat. When I drive him flat, I'm bringing my knees all the way up to my elbows so I can keep his heels to his butt. What I don't want is, I don't want to keep my knees out here like this, because he's just going to take his feet out and then lock his guard. Yep. So we're keeping those legs trapped from this position. Right? So this is the first part of controlling a body lock, is wrapping your arms around, controlling the hips, and keeping him tight, keeping pressure from this position. Your next step is going to be your leg placement. So the idea is that eventually, right now we have both hooks in with the butterfly, eventually I want to look to get my leg in between his legs, so he has one leg, almost one butterfly hook, or even better, what we're going to do now is getting his shin across my hip, okay? So we start here, I open the hands up, I change levels, I drop to my knees so his feet go in between my legs, my right arm shoots through, my left hand is going to come over the knee, we connect with this S grip, and I flatten my partner out, bringing my knees forward. And now we're going to get rid of the first hook. So my right leg is going to sprawl all the way back until his hook falls off. The goal is to try to get your hip down to the mat. So my right leg will sprawl all the way back and then down to the mat. Because I want his right shin across my hip, I continue to bring my hip across until I get past his foot. I come back up and then I drive to my knees. So now I have a tight body lock. His right shin is across my hip on this side. His foot's going to be hooking my hip here. The only thing we do now is have to clear this knee line. Let's go back for a second so you lift up. So my hand shoots through. Our hands are connected here. My elbow is going to block his knee. Okay, so if I'm here like this, my elbow blocks his knee. I start to walk to my left, and my left knee is going to go in front of his knee. So I open my elbow up, and as I open my elbow up, I slide my knee over. My knee is going to drop down to the mat, and we're going to switch our head. My head goes from this side all the way to the other side. I get on my toes here. Keeping the pressure, I use my left knee to bring his leg across and then control his hips. Once you get in this position, everything's going to be real tight. The bottom person's usually going to be pushing and pushing and pushing. You're just going to keep the position strong. Eventually, I can circle my hands to the inside and then get right past. So again, so here, we have to change levels, get to our body lock. We're going to force the butterfly position and then start to work the legs right after. So here, open, I change levels, and I dive directly into the position. Head will stay on this side, my knees up to my elbows. I'm not letting his legs come out. Now we start to work the first hook. So because my head is on this side, I start to sprawl my opposite leg back to get rid of that hook. So I sprawl my leg back, turning my knee in this direction, and I want to get my hip to get past his right foot. So my hip will go past his right foot and we get to here. Notice how like my hip is on the mat, my knees are pointing in this direction. As soon as I get to here, I start to scoop my knees right back up. So hip comes up, here, elbow closed. The reason I keep my head on this side is because I don't want him attacking my arm with the Kimura grip. So when we are like looking for this pass, my arm's exposed on this side. So you're gonna keep your head here as long as you can. I don't right away put my head to this side so we start to sit up and then make his grip. My head will stay on this side until I block that knee. So I open my elbow up, I fold my knee open, and I slide my knee right over. Now I can start to bring my head across, get on my toes, walk, push that knee through, and then get right across. One more time. Okay, so just real quick with that. So when I'm here like this and I'm clearing the hooks, keeping everything tight, I get on my toes, I sprawl my hip down, and I walk until I get rid of that first hook, and that second hook goes across my hip. Then I scrape my knees back up, and we get to here. Now my head can go to the other side as I push the knee across, and I work the hips to the other side. Again. Here, change levels, drop to my knees. This is gonna be my long arm, my short arm. We connect, and I drive my knees up. Keeping everything tight, elbows connect to knees. I work to sprawl my leg back, clearing the hook, first one, second one, get to here. Now once I get here, I come up and I shovel his foot across to control that side. Head stays here until I'm ready to go. So I open my elbow up, I step, slide my knee over. Now my head can come across, driving my shoulder to the stomach, hip comes up. When my hip comes up, I'm not stepping here. I keep my knee exactly where it is, and I use that knee, push, clear his legs, work the inside position, and get right past.